Let's talk business now. All share index closed at 25.31 trillion naira, following a 0.02% increase in equity capitalization on Friday. Investors on the Nigerian stock market took home 2.12 billion naira. Now, because of the growth in the stock market, shareholders' total investment increased to 25.31 trillion naira from 25.30 trillion naira on Thursday. The all-share index gained 3.94 basis points to settle at 46,964.23, up from 46,960.29 the day before. Now, on Friday, investors exchanged 177.09 million shares worth 4.18 billion naira in 3,873 transactions. And now joining me to further discuss this is Azeez Lawal, the Managing Director at TrustBanc Asset Management Limited. Always glad to have you, Azeez. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good morning. Now, Azeez, let's talk about the decision of the MPC. What would you say your take is on that decision to hold the MPR rather than increase it like we saw in Egypt and in Ghana?
Yeah, good morning once again. Thank you for having me. Yeah, thank you for the question. I mean, it was an interesting week across global economies last week. Yeah, we saw the US Fed hike rate by 25 basis points. We also saw the same thing in Egypt and Ghana, particularly for Ghana, our neighbors. They hiked their rate by over 200 basis points and 250 basis points specifically. I mean, coming to Nigeria, the MPC rather held rates instead of hiking it. We're not surprised by the decision. What we saw last week was more of CBN waiting to sift through the rate hike noise rather than play catch up. And the MPC basically was caught between taming inflation to tame growth because for the economics that hiked rates, a number of them were basically hiking those rates to tame inflation. So it was not a case of for Nigeria, should we hike rates to tame inflation and also tame growth? So that was basically the dilemma of the MPC. So the decision to hold rate rather than hike it is consistent with what we've seen from the MPC in the last year and the last 2 years. Exactly this time last year, March last year, we saw inflation levels at 18.17%, and yet the MPC held policy parameters, including MPR, in that month, March 2021. So at 15.7% this year, inflation levels, it was not a surprise that the CBN chose to hold rates to sustain the current economic growth trajectory. Thank you.
All right, now, Azeez, looking at the performance of stock last week, looking in retrospect now, would you say that any major issue influenced the performance of stocks?
Yeah, the equity market was largely quiet last week, and that's what we've seen in the last 3 to 4 weeks now. What we see is basically equity market players trading cautiously. Significantly, strategic announcement and corporate actions have kind of relaxed now. So we hope that so what will most likely drive the market in the coming weeks will be first quarter impressive performance announcements. Thank you.
Okay. And now let's take a look at your predictions. What would you say your expectations are for this week, and what investment insights would you have for the audience?
Yeah, thank you. So for the equity market, we expect the market to remain quiet. But as for insights, again, like we've done in the last 4-6 weeks, where we've consistently recommended stocks for our audience. The stock to watch out for now is basically flour mills, and that is relatable because significantly importation of grains is going to be kind of hampered by the current level of aggression from Russia on Ukraine. Ukraine is about, as far as grain is concerned, Ukraine supplies 25% of world global supply. And also Russia is a major player also in the supply of grain, particularly they top our trading partners as far as grain is concerned. So we expect that in the coming months, there will be scarcity of flour in Nigeria. So in that regard, it just makes sense to buy a stock that produces flour in Nigeria, and that's flour mills. So that would top our recommendation for this week as far as investment insight is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Azeez Lawal, for joining us. It's always a pleasure having you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you.